wasn't. I mean, physically, I did a lot of exercise beforehand, and I may swim anyway at home. I knew I was going to have to be very, very strong.
In a career filled with unforgettable performances and timeless films, Kate Winslet has never shied away from challenging roles. From surviving the icy Atlantic in Titanic to winning an Oscar for The Reader, she's proven herself as one of the most fearless actresses of her generation. But behind the scenes, there's one episode from 1997 that she has refused to watch. So why has she refused to watch it? Join us as we unravel the shocking reason why Kate Winslet never wants to revisit a project she had featured in. Winslet's experience after Titanic. Kate Winslet may have become a global superstar overnight thanks to the massive success of Titanic in 1997, but the experience wasn't as glamorous as many might think. Interestingly, Winslet recently admitted that the sudden fame made her feel horrible. In an honest interview with Porter magazine, the 50-year-old actress opened up about how overwhelming the attention was. "I felt like I had to look a certain way or behave a certain way," she said. "There was so much media intrusion. It just made life really unpleasant." Right after Titanic took the world by storm, journalists kept questioning her choices. They'd always say, "You could have done anything after Titanic, so why did you pick these small projects?" Winslet recalled. Her answer? A firm and fiery, "You bet I did, because being famous was awful." Of course, she was thankful for the success. "I was in my early 20s and able to afford my own apartment," she said. "That part was great, but I didn't enjoy being followed around just for doing simple things, like feeding ducks at the park." Even though Titanic brought her global recognition and a permanent place in movie history, especially for her unforgettable role alongside Leonardo DiCaprio, Winslet confessed that fame took a toll. These days, though, she's more at peace with it. "The level of fame I have now doesn't feel like a burden," she explained. "And Titanic still makes people really happy. The only time I get a little uneasy is when I'm on a boat. Then I think, oh no, please don't recognize me." This isn't the first time Winslet has talked about how tough things got after Titanic. Back in 2021, on the podcast WTF with Mark Maron, she revealed that she quickly went into what she called self-protective mode after being harshly treated by the British press. "It was like my life changed completely overnight," she said. "I was criticized for how I looked and judged constantly. The tabloids were downright cruel." She didn't sugarcoat the truth. "Honestly, I felt bullied," said the star of the regime. "I remember thinking, this is awful. I really hope this doesn't last forever. Thankfully, it did pass, but it made me realize I wasn't ready for that kind of fame. Not at all." In a 2023 interview with Vogue, Winslet explained that those early years of public criticism helped change how she saw herself. Instead of chasing impossible beauty standards, she learned to let go of those worries. So, after all that confidence, what brought her to tears? Let's uncover the reason. Kate Winslet on body shaming. Kate Winslet recently opened up in an emotional interview, breaking down in tears as she remembered the harsh and hurtful comments she faced after starring in the 1997 blockbuster Titanic. At just 22 years old, she was catapulted to global fame as Rose DeWitt Bukater, but not everyone celebrated her success. Instead of encouragement, she was met with cruel remarks about her body, something no young actress should have to deal with. Kate spoke honestly during the December 1st episode of 60 Minutes on CBS. She described how painful it was to be fat-shamed by critics during a time when she was still trying to find her place in Hollywood. "It was absolutely appalling," she said. "What kind of person says things like that to a young woman who's just trying to do her job and learn as she goes?" In one video clip from the show, Kate is seen walking the red carpet at the 1998 Golden Globe Awards. Dressed in a black and white lace gown, she stood beside her Titanic co-star Leonardo DiCaprio. But instead of praising her, an interviewer made a demeaning comment, saying she looked like she had been melted and poured into her dress, and even suggested she should have worn one 2 sizes bigger. Sadly, this wasn't an isolated incident. Kate revealed that after Titanic became a worldwide hit, she received several similar comments. Though she never made a big public fuss, she did confront some of the people who body-shamed her, and did so in a calm yet powerful way. "I let them have it," she said. "I told them, I hope this haunts you. And you know what? It felt amazing. Not just for me, but for everyone who has ever had to endure that kind of bullying. It was awful, truly awful." Kate shared that the criticism began even earlier in her life. When she was still training to be an actress, one of her teachers bluntly told her she'd only ever be cast in fat girl roles. "If you're going to look like this," the teacher said, "you'll have to accept that you'll never play the lead." But Kate refused to accept that judgment. "I wasn't even fat," she said, "and I remember thinking, I'll prove you wrong. I won't say it. I'll just do it quietly." Over the years, it wasn't just her weight that came under fire. Her entire appearance was constantly criticized. In the same 60 Minutes interview, Kate explained how people even took jabs at how she looked in Titanic. They'd say, "Oh, you were so brave. You didn't wear any makeup. You had wrinkles." But Kate challenged those comments, pointing out the double standards in the film industry. Would anyone say to a male actor, "You were so brave. You grew a beard for the role"? Of course not. That's not bravery. It's just acting. After more than 3 decades in the spotlight and countless award-winning performances, Kate Winslet has reached a point where she no longer lets public opinion affect her. So, could this be why Winslet still can't bring herself to watch that one episode she filmed back in 1997? Let's take a closer look. Kate Winslet's fame struggles. When Kate Winslet took on the role of Rose in Titanic, she was just 21 years old. A young woman stepping into a movie that would become one of the biggest in history. Almost overnight, she went from being a rising actress to a global superstar. But instead of enjoying the glamour of fame, Kate was suddenly thrown into a storm of harsh judgment, especially from the British press. In a recent chat on Mark Maron's WTF podcast, Kate opened up about how fame didn't feel magical at all. It felt shocking. "One day everything was normal, and the next, my life completely changed," she said. "Suddenly everyone was watching me and criticizing how I looked. I felt like I was being picked apart, and honestly, it felt like I was being bullied. The pressure didn't stop at red carpets or interviews. Paparazzi followed her everywhere, even to the corner shop. There were cars full of photographers snapping pictures of me just buying milk and a newspaper," she remembered. Feeling overwhelmed, Kate said she had no choice but to go into what she called self-protective mode. Instead of chasing more big Hollywood roles after Titanic, she decided to slow down. Kate chose to focus on smaller, independent films so she could keep learning, stay grounded, and protect her mental health. "I was still figuring out how to act," she said. "I didn't want to mess up. I wanted to build a real career, one that could last a long time, and I wanted to do it with dignity." Sadly, being judged for her body wasn't new to Kate. Even as a teenager, she had faced harsh words. At just 14, a drama teacher told her she might get work if she was willing to settle for the fat girl roles. That comment could have crushed her, but instead, it lit a fire in her. Years later, when she won a BAFTA in 2016, she used the moment to speak to young women everywhere. "Don't listen to people who put you down," she said. "I didn't, and I pushed through my fears and self-doubt." Kate has since become a strong voice for body positivity. She's famous for refusing to have her photos digitally retouched in ads or on movie posters, believing people should see real bodies, not edited versions. At home, she's also passed this confidence on to her daughter Mia. In a touching story from 2015, Kate shared how she stands in front of the mirror with Mia and says, "Aren't we lucky to have curves? Aren't we lucky to have good bums?" Mia always replies, "Mummy, I know, thank God." But what made her skip not just one, but both Titanic premieres? Let's find out. Kate's missing out on Titanic premieres. Most people would assume that after spending so much time, energy, and emotion filming a movie, especially something as massive as Titanic, an actor would be eager to watch the final result on the big screen. You'd think they'd be front row at the premiere, soaking in the applause and excitement. Maybe that's exactly what Kate Winslet had in mind too, but fate had other plans. Surprisingly, Kate didn't attend the original U.S. premiere of Titanic in 1997. That glamorous Hollywood event took place at the famous Mann's Chinese Theater. But instead of walking the red carpet with her co-stars, Kate was attending something far more somber: the funeral of her ex-boyfriend, Stephen Treadray. Kate and Stephen had shared a deep and loving relationship that lasted 4.5 years, from 1991 to 1995. Even though they had separated, they remained close. Sadly, Stephen lost his battle with cancer around the same time Titanic was being released to the world. Kate couldn't imagine being anywhere else but at his funeral in England. She had been working on a film called Hideous Kinky in Morocco when the heartbreaking news reached her. Instead of flying to Los Angeles for the big premiere, she changed her plans and rushed home to say goodbye. As if that wasn't enough, she also missed the UK premiere. This time, it wasn't grief that kept her away. It was illness. While still filming in Morocco, Kate had fallen seriously ill with dysentery, a severe stomach infection. It wasn't just a cold or minor bug. She was hospitalized and simply too unwell to travel or attend any public event. For a long time, Kate didn't get to watch Titanic on the big screen like the rest of the world. While millions were lining up at cinemas, crying and cheering through the epic love story, Kate had to wait. Eventually, when life calmed down and she had some time to breathe and heal, she did watch the film privately. But it wasn't until years later, when Titanic was re-released in 3D, that Kate finally experienced the magic of seeing herself in that unforgettable role on the big screen. Even though she earned an Oscar nomination for playing Rose, Kate wasn't entirely satisfied with her performance. Looking back, she admitted she wasn't happy with her American accent and felt her acting could have been better. It's the kind of self-criticism only a perfectionist would understand. Fans and critics, on the other hand, thought she was nothing short of brilliant. Despite all the drama and sadness behind the scenes, Kate still looks back on her time filming Titanic with a smile. She remembers the freezing water in the famous door scene, the long hours, and the silly moments, like when she and Leonardo DiCaprio took turns peeing in the pool during filming. And let's not forget the hilarious moment she greeted Leo for the first time by playfully flashing him before their love scene, something only Kate Winslet would dare to do. So even though Kate didn't get to watch Titanic with the rest of the world in 1997, her journey with the film was just as epic and unforgettable as the movie itself. Kate Winslet's early life. Kate Elizabeth Winslet was born on October 5, 1975, in the town of Reading, located in Berkshire, England. Her parents, Sally Ann and Roger John Winslet, worked hard to provide for their family. Her mother juggled jobs as a nanny and a waitress, while her father, who dreamed of becoming an actor, often had to take on tough manual jobs just to make ends meet. Acting ran in her family. Kate's maternal grandparents were both actors and had even started their own theater company called the Reading Repertory Theater. Kate grew up with two sisters, Anna and Beth, who also became actresses, and a younger brother named Joss. Their family background was a blend of British, Irish, and Swedish roots. But life wasn't easy for the Winslets. Money was often tight. They lived on free school meals and even received help from a charity known as the Actors Charitable Trust, which supported families in the performing arts. Things became even more difficult when Kate was 10 years old. Her father had a terrible boating accident that left him with a serious foot injury. After that, it became even harder for him to work, and the family's financial struggles grew. Despite all of this, Kate has always said that her home was full of love and support. Her parents made sure the children felt cared for, even during the hardest times. Kate went to a Church of England primary school called St. Mary and All Saints. Growing up in a family filled with actors, she naturally developed a passion for acting early on. She and her sisters often took part in school plays and joined a local youth theater group called Foundations. Kate's first time on stage came when she was just 5 years old. She played Mary in her school's nativity play. But childhood wasn't always easy. Kate has described herself as a chubby child, and some of her classmates cruelly teased her, calling her blubber. She was bullied for the way she looked, but even as a young girl, she refused to let it stop her from chasing her dreams. At age 11, something amazing happened. She was accepted into Red Roof's theater school in Maidenhead. This special school not only taught acting, but also helped students find real auditions in London. While studying there, she got her first taste of professional work, appearing in a commercial for Sugar Puffs cereal and doing voice work for foreign films. Kate quickly stood out at school. She became head girl and acted in many school plays, including Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, The Lion, The Witch, and The Wardrobe, and she even starred as Wendy in Peter Pan. She also worked with a local theater group in Reading called the Star Maker Theater Company. Although she didn't often land the lead roles, mostly because of her size, she still got to play some memorable characters like the cranky Miss Hannigan in Annie, the wise Mother Wolf in The Jungle Book, and the energetic Lena Morelli in Bugsy Malone. Then, in 1991, shortly after finishing her GCSE exams, Kate got her first big break on screen. She was cast in a BBC science fiction series called Dark Season, written by Russell T Davies, who would later go on to revive Doctor Who. In the show, she played Reet, a brave schoolgirl, who helps her friends take down a mysterious man handing out free computers with a hidden, sinister agenda. Although the role didn't pay much, it marked the beginning of Kate's journey into television and film. Unfortunately, she couldn't afford to continue at Red Roof's theater school, and by the time she was 16, she had to drop out. To make money, she took a job working behind the counter at a local delicatessen. From a young girl with big dreams and little money, Kate Winslet was slowly building a career, one small step at a time. But how does the public see Winslet? Let's find out. Winslet's public image. In a 2015 article for Elle, writer Sally Holmes highlighted something special about Kate Winslet: how easily she connects with people. It's not just what she says, but how she carries herself. She has a warm and engaging way about her that draws others in. Joe Ellison from Vogue described Winslet as having a strong presence, almost like a diplomat. Kira Cochrane of The Guardian called her smart, elegant, and someone who carries herself with a touch of greatness. And despite being a global star, Krista Smith from Vanity Fair said Winslet is refreshingly down-to-earth and speaks honestly, without trying to impress anyone. Over the years, the media has paid a lot of attention to Winslet's body and weight changes, sometimes more than necessary. But she has never let Hollywood's harsh beauty standards control her. She's always stood firm against the pressure to look a certain way. In 2003, the British edition of GQ magazine edited her photos to make her look thinner and taller, without asking her. Winslet was outraged, and the magazine eventually apologized. She hasn't been afraid to fight back when false stories were spread about her. In 2007, she sued Grazia magazine for falsely claiming she had visited a dietitian. Winslet won the case, received £10,000 in damages, and donated it all to a charity that supports people with eating disorders. Just 2 years later, in 2009, she took legal action again, this time against the Daily Mail for publishing lies about her fitness routine. She won that case too and was awarded £25,000 along with a public apology. Despite all this, Winslet has also been widely celebrated for her looks. In 2005, People magazine named her one of the most beautiful people. Other well-known magazines like Harper's Bazaar, Who, and Empire have praised her beauty and confidence. But Winslet doesn't follow Hollywood's typical ideas of perfection. She proudly encourages women everywhere to love their natural appearance. She has spoken out strongly against the use of Botox and plastic surgery. In fact, in an effort to stand up for aging naturally, she joined forces with fellow British actresses Emma Thompson and Rachel Weisz to create the British Anti-Cosmetic Surgery League. Together, they promote real beauty and grow older with grace. Winslet even asks magazines and brands not to edit out her wrinkles in photos. She wants her face to reflect her true self. When it comes to the topic of unequal pay for women in Hollywood, Winslet chooses to stay quiet. She doesn't like talking publicly about how much she earns. And she's also not a fan of all the glitter and fuss that comes with celebrity life. She said that expensive press tours and red carpet events often feel like a big waste of money. What do you think about Kate Winslet's refusal to watch this one episode she filmed in 1997? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.